I was going
plant.
to ask
So
why you think that is. Why do you think Pflugerville has had such that attraction rate?
I think, just on this side where I'm at, like, so I'm east of 35. I think just the schools, and there's lots of development out here, and it's the last city outside of Austin, that you can get close to being downtown. It's about a 30-minute drive, to get down there. So most people are going to go back into the office come 2022, and not as much, working from home.
Hey everybody, I was going to say good morning, but by the time you're watching this, I don't think it will be. I go by ianofAustin everywhere on the internet, and today I've got a great guest, and her name is Sonia, and she is the enemy. I'm just kidding. She works for one of our builders, our builder partners, and so Sonia, why don't you take a moment to introduce yourself?
Hey guys, I'm Sonia, and I work for Pacesetter Homes in the greater Austin area. I'm actually located in Flugerville at the model home in the Sorrento community, and I'm so excited to be here today. So thank you, Ian.
No problem. It's kind of crazy what's happening in the Austin area, would you say?
Yeah, like it's amazing.
Well, amazing is one way to put it. I think for us it's exciting because there's a lot of movement, but I also see the other side where there are people that are trying to get a house, and guess what they can't do? They can't get a house, or they're looking for prices that are, that were 2017, 2018, and thinking that that's still possible. Or they think they can walk in and just build on the spot and be ready to go. So I want to cover all of that sort of stuff today, like what people's expectations are and what it's like trying to come here right now when everyone else is still trying to come here. I don't think I'm going to talk about a crash because there's no crash. How do you feel? No. How do you feel about that? I'm going to right out the gate. How do you feel about the talk of there being slowdown in the Austin market?
Honestly, for me, like I don't see it. I think, we're kind of in a holding pattern right now. I think it's great, but I think we're going to see another mad dash. And, it's just, this is the new normal of the market. And, I think over the last year, as people have been shopping for homes, they've really kind of adapted, and now they understand what they're up against. It's been a learning curve. But I think it's been a positive learning curve. It's definitely, I've seen, the frustration in people, but when you come and talk to me, it's one of those things that I like to give people hope and know that, hey, this is the reality. You can either swim with it or you can swim against it. And, the idea is let's just put the past behind us and focus on getting you a home if we can.
That's very good. Very good. Did you see that article that says there's a particular neighborhood, and, we can get into that later, but a particular neighborhood, they're announcing 12,000 more homes near the Tesla Gigafactory. Isn't that crazy?
Oh, it's insane.
It's insane.
Every day I feel like I wake up and there's, new neighborhoods, new businesses. There's just, everything is just, there's a lot of excitement and movement in Austin. And I know that we all, have this attitude of gratitude, and we're thankful that everybody's like moving this way. It's job security all around. So it's pretty awesome. And, it's going to be very interesting to see where the market takes us from here on out.
Yeah. So help me understand, why Pacesetter? Like, why do you work for Pacesetter? What do you like about Pacesetter? What will your clients like about Pacesetter?
Yeah. I've been with Pacesetter for almost 5 years, and it's a great company. What I love about them is they focus on every type of buyer. So whether it's your first home, whether it's your last home, whether it's your fourth home, there's a lot of different options. Like Pacesetter, we have entry price point all the way up to, 5, 6, 700,000, depending on what you're looking for. We're located north all the way into San Marcos. So we've even also branched into the Dallas market as well. So there's a lot of different opportunities. And the one thing that I do love about Pacesetter is they really value the customer. They want to make the experience as positive as they can. Buying a home can be stressful, and it's obviously stressful in this market that we're in right now. And they really take the time to just find the right home for whatever their needs are.
Yeah. And I like that you said that it should be exciting. It should be, but we're in the state of the union is that right now, if you're trying to get a house, you almost have to like rush almost, right? And then you have to, and then everything moves so fast, depending if it's an inventory, right? And
Right.
it's kind of chaotic, and I feel like sometimes that excitement gets lost. And because of that, I mean, yeah, the actual excitement, and it's overtaken by apprehension a little bit, like, oh my God, am I doing the right thing? And so that's why I love it. Listen, I think you're an incredible person, and I value you, and I wouldn't have you on here if I didn't. I don't know if people know that, but
I appreciate that.
the reason why that's important is because I know that you're one of those people that'll actually take care of people and try to make sure that they find something that fits, because it is such a challenging process versus what it was 2, 3, 4 years ago. So, yeah.
Well, I appreciate that. I think, it's important, like, right. It is, for some people, it's just a home, but for most people, it's a lifestyle change. And I think we have to keep that in mind. And, when people come in, obviously, like, I want to try to check every box off their list, but that's one of those things that the reality is in this market, in any market, let me put it that way, there's compromise in everything. Oh, yeah. So, when buyers are out shopping, I think they need to keep that in mind. It's already tough in a slower market, but as we're ramping up and we're seeing things, you may not be able to get everything you want, but, going with the mindset of, hey, we're going to get a house, and here's where I kind of work through everything, is just being like, hey, what are the most important things, the top 3 things for you? And let's start there. And, let's see if we can make it happen for you.
Yeah. Yeah. So that makes me curious about, like, tell me about some of the communities.
Sure. So, well, first I'll kind of talk about my own community. So I'm actually located in Flugerville, right off the toll road. It's in a great area. It's called Sorrento. And so we actually build 3 different types of products. So we've got kind of townhome style homes. You've got kind of your Texas traditional homes, and then kind of more. It's a more kind of a condo community. Pause. Cut that out.
Okay.
Okay. So Sorrento. So basically, it's a condo regime community. We've got several different types of products out here. Basically, a couple of different townhomes. So if you're a first-time home buyer, not looking for anything too big to maintain, I've got those products. And then, of course, I've got more of kind of like a traditional Texas home, basically a great home for a starter family for sure. Mm-hmm. The community is very family oriented. It's awesome. It's in a great school district as well. We're in Pflugerville ISD, and we're located right across from Lake Pflugerville. So beautiful areas. We are also located in North Austin with several different communities, as well as South Austin. So it kind of just depends on location. No matter what, we build similar products across the board as well.
How is the growth in Sorrento, but any of those areas? How do you feel the growth is going? Do you feel like any one area is growing faster or selling more homes?
Man, I think, across the board, I can't speak for every single community since I'm kind of located in one, but I could definitely put everybody in touch with certain sales reps. But I will say, like, across the board, every area is booming. I typically see a lot happening in North Austin just because I'm focused more in this area versus South. But, like, I can say that, Pflugerville has been a very, very strong market for over the last year. So, it's definitely a desired area. I mean, we're 30 minutes away from the new Tesla plant.
I was going to ask why you think that is. Why do you think Pflugerville has had such that attraction rate?
I think, just on this side where I'm at, like, so I'm east of 35, and I think just the schools, and there's lots of development out here, and it's the last city outside of Austin, that you can get close to being downtown. It's about a 30-minute drive, to get down there. So most people are going to go back into the office come 2022, and not as much, working from home, or maybe it'll be a little bit more of a hybrid program. So I think just this area is a desired location because 30 minutes is the normal driving expectation in Austin.
Yeah. Sorry, you have to forgive me. Everybody who's watching, my eyes are watering a little bit. Sonia and I were just talking about it. We both kind of got hit with cedar fever just these last 2 days. It's been really, I'm all dosed up on Claritin right now. Like, what is happening? And yeah, it just, when it gets colder here, it starts to hit everybody. Okay, so Pflugerville is a really strong growth area right now. How are your choices? If you're a new buyer, let's say you're somebody who's never been here, how are your choices as far as, can you build a home right now? Is it going to be an inventory style? Is it something that you can build from scratch? Can you kind of explain how Pacesetter is handling that today?
Yeah. So some of the communities do have inventory. They've got some stuff that is either about 60 to 90 days out. Some have some completed inventory. If you can get in on that, it's a pretty quick process. So it's usually about a 30-day turnaround if it's complete. So you can get into a home. But basically what I'll go into, the fact is when you do walk in an office, most of the communities are probably on a wait list. So there are limited, there's a limited amount of contracts that each community can actually write right now. And so that is the reason for the wait list. So it's more just to kind of, handle production on the back end side. So that way we're not overloading and having extreme build times. So they're trying to manage it as best as they can with that.
So what are your build times right now?
So I would say, like, from contract to close, it's about 12 to 14 months is what is kind of where is an average for all communities.
Okay. And how many are you allowed to build right now? Like per month, for example?
So per month, we're releasing 3 to 4 to construction every single month.
So, okay, let's pause for a second. 3 to 4 houses a month, every month in each community. So people come here and think, I can walk into a builder, I'm going to get a house, either I'm going to build it or I'm going to get something that's, they've started the process. And you're telling me that 3 or 4 lucky people might be able to do it.
Yeah.
That's something I don't think people they realize, right, when they're coming here.
It's interesting it's a good way to look at this in this aspect. The thing is what I tell people is you're going to wait. Like, you're going to have to wait. That is the expectation. And I know that that's kind of hard to swallow, but the reality is the builders are trying to keep up with the demand, right?
Yeah.
So, while I tell people, hey, yes, we're only releasing 3 to 4 homes a month and you have to be on a wait list, you will get a home. I just can't tell you when.
Yeah. I'm going to let you move here. You're going to have to just kind of wait and hope that it works out. Now, and that's, that's where people like me, that's where I come in, and I try to evaluate what works really well in neighborhoods and all that. And, I've been fortunate, just like you've been fortunate in helping a lot of families end up getting into houses. So that's good. Okay. So why do you think what's going on with labor and materials right now in your industry? What are you seeing?
So I feel like, materials, obviously, with production, just in general, with the supply chain, it's been a little bit of challenge. I feel like the materials are there. It's just really the labor that's kind of causing more of the issue. Labor is just tough in any industry. It's not just the home building industry. So that is kind of what is causing a lot of the delays. I mean, things are just moving at a little bit of a slower pace than what we're used to. Things are getting done. It's just not going to be in that 120-day timeline.
Yeah. So give me an idea. So let's say somebody puts a house under contract, and you call them a GC or a construction manager or something that kind of runs the project, and they're going along. And then what happens? What do you mean by labor?
So basically, let's just say, we can get when you sign a contract, basically we release your house to construction. You pour the foundation pretty quickly, to be honest with you. It's more or less, depending on kind of the line of production, framing crews and, crews that do the exterior of the home. There's not several of them available. So things just are a little bit delayed because we want quality of work. So it's tough to find that right now. And so that's what's causing a little bit things to move a little bit slower.
Yeah. Yeah. And I've seen that everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And again, I think that's one of those things that's kind of overlooked. It's like, why is it going to take me so long? It's why do they have these parts sitting here and they're not like sliding glass door, for example? Like, why is this door sitting here and it hasn't been installed? It's been 3 weeks. It's because they don't have anybody who can install it. And then when you install it, you might have to adjust something on the wall, right? You have to might have to adjust something. You might have to paint. You might have to texture. There are all these elements that it's like you don't realize how many people are touching these homes and how much the shortage is affecting the process right now. And that's not even including the cost of materials or anything else, the availability of materials, appliances. Are you so you don't offer you don't offer refrigerators with your product,
We
right?
don't. So like,
Did you in the past?
Oh, I say that again.
Did you ever do that in the past?
We didn't. Like, the
Oh,
home
really?
buyer's
Okay.
always been responsible for washer, dryer, and fridge.
Yep.
So, but just shortage of materials in general, what I tell people is when you build a home, there's over 100 people that are touching your home. It's not just me, the salesperson that starts the contract, and the general contractor that is building your home. There is so many different other people involved in this process, from the permitting process to the closing process.
Yeah.
So there's shortages along the ways, and there's so many things that go into building a new home. And so we want to deliver a beautiful product. It's just, like, there are just some obstacles that we're up against, and, in this time. And what I tell people is, I'm like, hey guys, it's a little bit of a roller coaster, but we're going to make it to the end, and you're going to have a beautiful home at the very end of it. Yeah.
This is a good time to say, if anybody has any questions for Sonia or myself, please leave them in the comments. I think it's a value to have a builder representative here and just having this conversation with us. And when I say a builder, someone who's building a lot of homes, not like one home every year, right? Like, you're going through this process a lot. So you meet lots of families, you hear lots of stories as to why they're coming here, but you get to see it from a different lens from myself. So please, if you have comments, this is the time. Let's see. We talked about locations. Why don't you tell us a little bit about like different products that you have, like what kind of houses?
Yeah, so we offer like an array of different floor plans in all different communities. So it's pretty awesome, kind of depending on what you're looking for. Pricing is anywhere between like, mid threes up to like 800, like I said before in the very beginning. It all just depends on community specific and where you guys want to be. The beautiful thing about Pacesetter Homes is that, we build homes with lots of windows, lots of natural light. They're a beautiful collection that we actually have. So I will tell you, anything from kind of like a starter home all the way up to, your dream home. We definitely have those options. And so it kind of just all depends on what you're looking for. We do have like multi-generational plans as well in different communities.
Okay. Yes. Yeah.
So I know that's
really
a big thing. Yeah, that's a big thing that's recently popular. Lots of people are now starting to have, their families live with them. So they need bigger homes, lots of space, 2 masters or a separate living space. So there's definitely those options in several different communities too.
Where would you say more people are coming from? I know this is kind of off the wall question, but.
Ooh, I like it. So, I would say over the last year, obviously California, we love our Californians. But, recently I've had a lot of people making the move from the East Coast. I've been very surprised, and a lot of Midwesterners. So, either they want a little bit of Texas heat or they just want some space.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you get both of those, but you lose your basement. Darn it.
I'm like, darn, but you get garages if you didn't have them before.
That's true. Yeah, that's true. And I just want to touch back on, for people that are relocating here and haven't been to Texas before, we do not give you, in most cases, you will not get a refrigerator, washer, and dryer on a new or a resale house. That's really important. I don't know why. It's just, that's a very common occurrence. So I've got your screen. Do you want me to share your screen? You can show.
Yeah, I'll show a couple different things just for everybody to kind of see. So this is actually like my community. It's called Sorrento. Again, I'm in Flugerville. And this just kind of lists the school. This is basically the community information, you guys. It lists the schools, the tax rate, HOA, kind of your basic, information if you guys are shopping from out of state and you have some questions, or if you're interested in Pflugerville.
Yeah.
And then I will show a couple of different like plans that we kind of offer.
Yeah, let's look at some of those.
So the Angelina, this is actually an extremely popular plan that we offer in several different spots in our communities.
What's the square footage on that?
So this is 1,500 square feet. It's a 1-story, 3-bedroom, 2-bath. You can actually make it 2.5 baths if you want.
It's a little small. Can you zoom in just a little bit for me?
Sure.
There you go. Yeah. Yeah.
That works. So everybody can kind of see. And then
because I think that's
like over here, these are all your upgrade options as well.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'll show you so you can kind of see the exteriors of what you can choose for and what's cool.
I think this is one of those things that people, if they've never built or bought a new home, a new construction home, they may not understand how this works. Can you go and explain the elevations?
Yeah, so exactly. So basically, guys, like if you come in and let's say it's time to contract, we sit down, you can actually, in some communities, you'll be able to actually pick the lot that you want to build the home on, which is really nice. You can actually picture your future right then and there versus having to necessarily just be like, hey, this is what we have and this is it. So you start with picking out the lot that you would like to build on, and then you can see there's different elevations, like Angelina A versus Angelina A with optional masonry. Basically, different elevations just means the front facade of the home. So whether it's like the front porch gets a little bit bigger or the roof pitch lines kind of change a little bit. Also something to keep in mind, some communities offer masonry, which is kind of your brick stone options, or some just do a siding material, which is usually hardy plank that we use. So, but yeah, you get to choose from A, B, or C, or there's several different options depending on the floor plan. And you start with that, and then you can customize the outside with different paint colors depending on the community and what the restrictions are there. And then the next step is kind of picking out how you want the interior to look. So with us, you can actually do different packages, or you can actually go to our design center and customize it yourself. And then you see all of these options on the side here. These are what we call structurals. And those are things that affect the foundation. So you get to kind of semi-custom your house. So it's not full customization, but we do give you some options and flexibility there.
I like to, whenever I'm with clients and we're going through a new build, and it's kind of a shame that a lot of people don't know that when you're going to a builder or into some model homes, you want to bring your realtor with you if you have that representation, because we see a lot of houses, and no offense, but you see a lot of pace setter houses, and that's great. But that merge of knowledge that you don't have to pay for, like people are getting knowledge from both ends, is valuable. And so like when we're talking about structural, you have the structural that you offer, and oftentimes I'm like, this will resell better later. So, and it'll cost less. Jarvis, I don't know what's going on with him. I think he hears cars or something outside. Sorry. So there are things that if you put the money into it now, it's going to be a lot more cost effective to do it when you're building versus trying to have someone come and add on later. Right.
Right.
And so talking through the structural, talking through some of the designs is I think it's a lot of fun, personally.
I think, especially in this market, there's not a lot of builders that'll give you that option to customize a lot of things. Right. And so I think that's one thing that stands out about Pacesetter. We still are giving that flexibility to choose a lot, to choose a type of home that you want, and to customize it to make it yours. Yeah. So I think that's really exciting, and something just to keep in the back of your mind as you're showing clients, hey, we do have this option if you want to go down this route.
Well, and something like a perfect example would be a covered patio. I don't know how many houses I've seen, resale houses, and they don't have a patio, and people have dismissed it because of that. Or they're like, I like this house, but I want a covered patio. Can we offer less so that I can afford to add a covered patio later? And I'm thinking, yeah, well, if the person had the resources to be able to do it when they bought the house, everybody in Texas, you're hearing it here first. Everyone in Texas needs to have some kind of covered patio, even if you don't plan to use it for resale value, for gatherings or something, because that is a big lifestyle change here. It's very much a reward later when you go to sell the house. Okay, so let's see this floor plan. So what's the square footage, and then give me just. I know prices are, what do you call them? Variable. They're fluctuating daily. What's a sample price of something like this? 3 beds, 2 baths.
Yeah, so like in Flugerville, like this 1,500 square feet starts at 367, 900.
367, 900. So you're still sub 400,000.
I
You're
am.
still 30 minutes and still a 3-bedroom, 2 bath. And does this have? It doesn't have a study, or does it have? Well, it has 3 bedrooms.
It's got 3 bedrooms, and then like this one does not have a study.
Okay,
so
but you have plans that have them.
Yeah, there are other plans.
Yeah.
This is just one of these that a lot of people come in looking for a 1-story. And this is one of the most popular plans that I have, and it is a very beautiful home, and it's just good square footage to kind of start into.
Yeah. Why do you think people come in looking for a single story versus a 2-story?
I think it's right. A lot of people, what I've seen recently is a lot of people have family coming to stay with them. So they kind of don't want to deal with stairs and things like that. I think it's a little bit, I think they're both easy to maintain, and it depends on the person. But, most people come in with the preference of thinking, hey, will I be in this house for longer than the typical 5 to 7 years? So I think that's, kind of where their mind frame is when they come in.
It's so strange because he doesn't normally bark. Give me just 1 second. I'm so sorry. Okay, I'm back. All right. So let's see. So, and this is in Sorrento. What's the tax rate here? I know we had this conversation, and I like to talk about taxes. People don't understand what that means a lot of times when they're moving here. So I like to bring it up.
So the tax rate out here is 2.9.
Mm-hmm.
So what I tell people is a great tax rate for Flugerville. We're under 3%. Most of the communities in the Flugerville area are above 3%. And just something so everybody knows, we do pay a lot into the schools. So we are in a great school district. So that's something else. As people are moving out, from out of state, they are looking for either their current situation with children or their future.
Yeah. With when you have a higher tax rate, and now I'm getting all quasi-political, but when you have a higher tax rate, generally the money should be funding schools, some of the community environment, and amenities and things like that in the area. And so a lot of places in Flugerville, like you were saying, I 3.2% tax rate. So that means for whatever your house is worth, if your house is worth $900,000, you have to multiply that by 3.2%. And that's what your annual tax burden is going to be. Not what the last person had who's going to pay for it. It's not how it works. So it's really important, and it affects your monthly payment. Okay. So this is a cool plan. Show us, do you have a 2-story you can share?
I do. So this is another, let me zoom in really quick, guys, so you can kind of see. So this is called the Stone Wall. This is another floor plan.
2.5 baths.
This is actually around 1,800 square feet. What people love about this floor plan is it's a very large entertainment space downstairs. So it's great for the person that likes to entertain or has a lot of family over. Mm-hmm. And then again, all bedrooms would be upstairs. But you have the option to kind of do the covered patio. Here are all your structurals over here. And this one starts, we're under 300, or excuse me, we're under 400,000. I was
going to say, don't say that out loud.
I know, excuse me, guys. Under 400,000, it starts at 395, 900 out here.
Yeah. So still under 400,000. And so what is the most someone can spend on one of these houses? That's important. In my opinion, that's important.
I've had somebody spend up to $480,000 on one of these homes out here. And that's with the structural upgrades and design upgrades. Yeah. So, I mean, it's it's all based off preference, but most of the buyers out here, you know, I would say like recently contracting anywhere between 350 to 435, 440.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and again, that's another thing that's important. People see these prices and they're not taking into account what they're going to change in the house, like a covered patio. You need a covered patio. Add it. Don't think about it. Right. That's kind of how I feel about it. Flooring, that's kind of a challenge. You go back and forth with that. So yeah. Fixtures and stuff you can do yourself. Fans you can do yourself. Whatever.
I always share with people, I'm like, do the structurals are always going to give you the best return, right?
Yeah.
And so the things like that's where I tell people to kind of spend their money. The
Mhm.
inside, I'm like, guys, spend the money on the things that you can't physically change yourself. So,
Yeah.
or the things that people are going to see that is like maybe going to bother you. So like flooring, cabinets, countertops, that's kind of where I tell people to kind of focus.
Mhm.
All the other stuff, I'm like, you can paint walls, you know, you can change fixtures like you said yourself.
I'm gonna tell you, I don't paint. I used to paint. I think I'm pretty good at it, but I am not doing that anymore. I don't like
I will say, I will agree. I'm not a painter. I'm more of kind of the you missed a spot type of girl.
Right. Well, because we have the texture thing here, right? Because you paint and then you have to float and texture, and I'm like, you know, I can. I'll have somebody do that for me.
Right.
Cool. Well, okay. I think that is great information for people. If someone had questions or if somebody wanted to buy a Pacesetter home, how should they get in touch with you?
Man, you just call me, text me, email me, beat me. No.
Or call me and I will get in touch with Sonia and we will make sure. It gives me an excuse to call her and say, hey, I've got somebody. Guess what? We're looking for X, Y, and Z. And a lot of times it works out really well that way. And that's kind of the way we work.
100%. Definitely bring Ian out. I was like, I'd love to meet you. Ian is a great representation. He could take you north all the way down to south to any Pacesetter community. And then, of course, you know, he's got my contact information. So if you guys want to know any more in detail about Pacesetter, definitely connect with us both. We'd love to help you.
Heck yeah. So let's see. Let me think about a fun question to ask. If someone has never been to Austin before and they're moving blind, because I have this happen a lot, right? They've never been here. They don't know anything about it. What would you warn them about before they made the move?
Ooh.
That's important, right? Because everybody's different. Everybody has different kind of thought process. Let's say somebody from Boston.
Well, I'm like, here's the thing. I think about somebody from Boston. I went to Boston recently. So, you know, they don't necessarily have to have a vehicle, right? They've got public transportation, things like that. Yeah. So adjusting to traffic, while I know people from the West Coast, they're used to traffic, you know, I always tell people, you know, expect a minimum 30-minute drive in Austin is normal. It's normal. It is not most people swallow that and they're like, wow, that's great, you know? And I'm like, yeah. So I think if somebody moving from Boston is, hey, you're going to have a car and kind of expect to have a little bit of traffic. We have moving traffic, which is nice. But that's it. I think Austin it's a great place. I mean, I've been here for almost 15 years and I'm not leaving anytime soon. So come on.
Just come on. We are friendly despite what you see in the media. We like people moving here. We just don't like house prices going up. Anyway, thank you so much for watching today. And if you have any questions, once again, be sure to like, subscribe, and comment. Ask any questions of Sonia or myself, and we're happy to see you again soon. Thanks, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.